You know, back in the day, they used to call me the indie guy. Every week, I'd run off all the new latest indie games coming out on the Wii U and 3DS eShop. Those were the simple days. Back when there was 5, 10 games a week. Now there's like 30 or 40 every week on the Switch eShop. It's crazy. What kind of crazy person could possibly run that down every freaking week? Alright, check it out. Here's a slew of games that came out in the eShop over the last week. I'm not promising half of them being any good. First up is Forever Forest, a game where you play as a morphed Cubone wandering a procedurally generated forest forever, carrying a light. Spoilers, the mask is probably your dead mother's skull. Next up, we have Planet RIX-13, where you seem to play a 2D Fallout game in the hopes of filling your pockets with everything you can pick up. As a bonus incentive, you can play it through 2 times as there are 2 different endings. Then there's Bash the Bear. Aside being a fun alliteration essay, the game has you playing with a squad of hedgehogs, not the blue cool kind either, with the goal of bashing a poor innocent bear. Pick it up before PETA shuts it down. Next is YIIK, a postmodern RPG which, funny enough, is a game I was covering over 4 years ago and is just now releasing. It's an RPG where you play as a white guy trying to save a woman. How original. SHROUDED is another of many to hit the eShop this past week, offering players some stylish original Game Boy colors and some choices to sacrifice villagers or something. Office Quest. It's a point-and-click adventure game about an office worker not wanting to be in an office. Now you too can relive your life in stunning black and white. If you're still watching and haven't lost faith in the eShop, then maybe Spot the Difference's Party will change your mind. If you ever love those Spot the Difference puzzles found in your local newspaper or restaurant menu, now you can drop $6 to find the difference in 360 pictures. I know you miss those old 2D brawlers, and with so few around these days, Rampage Nights might be looking a bit sexy to you. This is a co-op beat 'em up mixed up with some dungeon crawling goodness added to the mix. This indie game is cheating under the guise of a Square Enix published title, but I'll call it an indie anyways because the line is so blurry these days. It's a platformer with neon lights and rhythm. Maybe you'll like it. I might. Look at this gem. Looking like it's straight out of Facebook, you can take care of your farm and its animals to grow it to an even bigger farm with more animals. I know some people love this stuff, I just don't. In case my exotic farm looked a little too hot for you, you can cool it down a bit with my Arctic farm. Same gist, except you can feed penguins versus giraffes. Penguins trumps giraffes, so if you're having troubles choosing one, grab this one. Continuing along the Sims trend, here's Mega Mall Story, a game that lets you build out your own mall. I'd poke fun of this if I wasn't guilty for enjoying these types of sim games myself from time to time. Here's Left Right the Mansion. Do you know why it's called Left Right? It's because the whole game is based around choosing between the left or right door. That's literally about it. Holy Potatoes, We're in Space is our next game, and not actually any way that I would express myself. From what I gather, it's a turn-based combat thing with spaceship, except you micromanage what goes on inside the spaceship to make it like a better spaceship. Color me intrigued. Gunman Clive HD Collection brings the 3DS classics to the Switch. It's a 2D platformer where you play as a cowboy, but you shoot samurais, robots, dinosaurs, I don't know. You also get to ride a panda, apparently. Get Amped Mobile didn't even try to pretend it wasn't mobile by calling itself Get Amped Switch. It gets points for being ballsy. Other than that, it's a 3D action game that lets you fight other players around the world. Now, the Switch isn't exactly known for sports games, but Football Heroes Turbo is seeking to change that with some unique looking football that lets you level up your players and unleash some crazy moves. Honestly, it looks pretty cool. This game looks oddly like Machinarium, but alas, it's a fighting adventure game and not a point-and-click adventure game. So fight instead of click your way through this strange world home to a fish-controlled medieval robot. This is Dying, Reborn, and I have nothing to say other than watch this.
Now, no need to get defiant, Matthew. I have some great entertainment in store for you. If I were you, I would take some time to think. Then you may remember why you are here.
Next we have Crazy Strike Bowling EX. It's bowling with anime characters. Next. Here's Build a Bridge, the perfect game for any aspiring engineer. Find unique ways to build a bridge while avoiding obstacles and get your traffic across. Looks pretty fun. Thought that last horror game was the only one out this week. Well, here's another called Bedtime Blues. Except this time you're dealing with a murderous stuffed bear. No thank you. I know, not indie, but shut up for a minute. Dragon's Lair Trilogy is a classic that needs to be played by any gaming aficionado. This game was legendary back in the arcade days, and you should definitely check this one out. Another oldie and non-indie, another NEOGEO classic release, this time Ninja Masters from 1996. As you would expect, it's another 2D fighting game. Interestingly enough, there's a decent amount of variety in last week's game release. Here's a biking game titled Old School Racer 2 that looks like something my son would play far too much of on his phone. Next up is a tower defense game set on Mars and some bad alien dudes. It's called Mars or Die. Getting close to the end of our list, there's Fight of Gods, which if you can't afford any other 2D fighting game, this one might just be within a reasonable price range. It's got some pretty decent graphics. Is that Jesus? You can fight as Jesus? I hate covering interactive stories, but alas, here we are with Cinderella, an interactive fairy tale. Looks like it's just a demo though, so you might have to wait a while to find out if she actually gets to go to the ball or not. Lastly, to finish things off with a bang, there's Travis Strikes Again, a game that has brought in mixed reviews. It was developed by Suda51, so expect all sorts of crazy shit in it. There you have it. That's 30 plus new games for you to try out on the Switch. Are you gonna buy any of them? Are you gonna try any of these indie games? Is all my work for nothing? Anyways, I don't care. I'll be back here next week with a whole new rundown of 30 plus games on the Switch. So be sure to subscribe and come back here next week for more indie games here on Hey Jay's Indie Corner. Till then, keep it classy.